Do either of you guys watch Yellowstone?
I do not.
In my head, I'm like, is this a Yogi Bear thing? So that's Jellystone.
Wait, is it Jellystone?
Yeah, that's where Yogi's from.
Yogi Bear. Yeah.
I always thought Yogi was from Yellowstone.
It just sounds the same.
I get that,
That's
but
the
like
joke.
I would
That's like the
have
joke.
sworn it was Yellowstone. So I don't know if I just like as an adult I was like, oh yeah, there's no Jellystone. It's definitely Yellowstone.
Well, actually, there is. They have a bunch of branded campgrounds like across America called Jellystone, like parks.
Actually, on our way to Falling Water, we passed the Jellystone National.
I am like so confused now. I like is it what's real and what's fake? I have no idea anymore.
If you were wondering, there's only one on the West Coast.
one Jellystone or Yellowstone?
Well, there's only one Yellowstone National Park. There's one of
Okay.
those.
Okay.
There's multiple Jellystone parks, and only one of those is in California or the West Coast in general.
Okay, you've
So
set
it's
me straight.
mostly an East Coast thing.
I am definitely I understood. I feel
Okay.
so much better now.
Yeah.
I can go on with my life.
Is that going into the notes now? Like, is that another thing you're going to talk about in the show?
It's something we have to dissect when we get into the headlines. Fuck the rest of this DC fandom stuff. Where is the Yellowstone and Jellystone divide? I must know.
I mean, I think that's technically a Warner Brothers property.
Oh fuck, you might be right. Wait, is it?
think
God
so.
damn it. Crossover Central.
Hanna-Barbera, yeah. I think, yeah.
How do you spell Yogi? Wait.
No.
Is it why
He's going to Google Yoga Bear, and he's going to get all sorts of weird poses.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Bry Guy and his Super Friends. I'm your host, Brian Labick. Joining me for this episode, he's another year older, another year wiser, another night wasted recording this stupid-ass podcast, Andy Stolz.
What's up, podcast people?
And also, he really only agreed to be on here to talk about one thing, and now I've got him locked in for all kinds of other random shit we're going to talk about. Ian Leidick.
I'm very upset with Brian. I wanted a nice, chill 40-minute episode to mostly talk about anime before we could finally get this anime podcast started. Anime guys and the Super Friends. But Brian had to go and ruin that, and now he's going to have to carry that weight.
Anime Guys and the Super Friends. How long did it take you to think up of that name?
Like, as I was talking.
It kind of shows. I'm not going to lie. It kind of shows. So I was originally going to... We're originally thinking... Personally, I was originally thinking to take this week off from recording. We weren't going to do anything. Some stuff dropped. Ian and I were talking about the... He kind of suggested, hey, let's talk about like 3 things. We'll keep it short. And then I was like, well, this other thing happened. Maybe we'll put this in, and maybe we can add this in. Next thing you know, I got like 6 pages of crap here that I'm going to try to roll through. So we're going to try to keep this as quick as possible, but we'll see how it goes. So again, hopefully it's quick. I'm going to streamline this as much as possible. We kind of turned this into a headlines episode, so I'm going to do my best to get through it. We'll do the quick hit ones like we've been doing, which if you haven't listened before, I'm just going to try to get through some announcements and stuff quickly. If these guys want to chime in briefly, we'll talk about it quickly and then just move on to the next one and just try to keep going rapid fire through some stuff. We have a couple topics at the end that might take up a little bit more time if we get hung up on them. There's some Marvel stuff. We got an Uncharted trailer, DC FanDome stuff. Cowboy Bebop is something we originally were going to talk about.
Yeah, it
so
got
we're
cut.
gonna...
Got
It
for
didn't
time.
get cut. It's still there. It is still there. I will dangle that carrot to you for the end of the episode, so you stick around.
Oh.
So yeah, we'll catch up to that stuff at the end. Probably be a little bit longer than what we hit here at the beginning. So yeah, I'm gonna try to just rattle through some stuff. Bear with us. I will be talking a lot. We'll see what these guys chime in with. So we're gonna get going. Start the timer. We'll see if we can do this in under an hour. All right, so first thing I got, sequel to 2020's Sonic the Hedgehog. Sonic the Hedgehog 2 has cast Idris Elba as the voice of Knuckles, which I don't know if that voice cast fits for me right now, but I guess we'll see what they do with Knuckles.
Yeah, it
The
does,
movie
because
is set to
Knuckles
release...
Sounds like sex.
But sure, yeah, I'll take that. The movie is set to release right now, April 9th, 2022. Next story. Deadline is reporting that Disney Plus is moving forward with another movie for The Rocketeer. The title is being called The Return of the Rocketeer and will be written by Ed Rickort, produced by David and Jessica Aiello. Why can't I say that name? Aiello? Possibility with David to star. Story is said to revolve around a retired Tuskegee airman who takes up the mantle of the Rocketeer. There's no word on a release date or if this is actually happening, really. This is still just like, hey, this is something we might be working on. But me personally, I'm a fan of the Rocketeer. I fucking love that movie, so I am all for this.
If they do it, I'd love to see some callbacks to the original.
Yeah, it sounds like a sequel. It almost sounds like the Rocketeer existed in this movie, and this is just someone else that finds the rocket and takes up the mantle.
I'm assuming the older gentleman in the first movie is since gone, but maybe the original Rocketeer can be a voice for the new guy or something.
Love a cameo or something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Is this from the 60s?
The Rocketeer?
Yeah.
It was what, early 90s?
The one that came out was in the 90s sometime. It was set later, but it was made in the 90s. All right, what else we got? HBO Max is working on a Birds of Prey spinoff about the Black Canary that would bring back Journey Smollett in the role of Black Canary. Movie will be written by Misha Green, who has done Lovecraft Country, which I think Journey Smollett stars in Lovecraft Country. So I think it's where the two of them are getting together to talk about this one. As we'll talk about later, there are movie release schedules. A bunch of them are in flux. Paramount shuffled around some of their big blockbuster movies back in September. Top Gun Maverick was set to release November 19th. It has now been moved to May 27th, 2022. Originally, May 27th, 2022 was meant to be the date for Mission Impossible 7, so now that has been bumped to September 30th, 2022. So, just an FYI for those movies. We also got our first trailer for Matrix Resurrections probably a month or two ago at this point, because we're catching up on news from a while ago. The movie is set to release on HBO Max on December 22nd, in theaters and HBO Max on December 22nd, 2021. So we will get that movie by the end of the year.
This year?
This year.
Nice. I love how Keanu looks like John Wick.
Yeah.
But he's also Neo. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, that was, I think, all the teaser images that popped out for that. Everyone just said, oh, it's John Wick and the Matrix. That's cool. I'll see that.
Yeah.
So back in September, Sony had a digital PlayStation showcase event where they announced some upcoming games. So we're getting a Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic remake for PS5 and PC. Possibility of it coming to Xbox later. I don't think it's exclusive.
It's a one-year exclusive.
Okay. Yeah, so it's a timed exclusive, not a console exclusive. So eventually Xbox will get that. It is being labeled as a remake, not a remaster. So we will see how this turns out, what they do differently. It's also worth noting it is not being made by BioWare or Obsidian, who those two developers made the original KOTOR and KOTOR 2. It's being developed by Aspyr, I think.
Aspyr?
Yeah. I don't know what else Ian, do you know offhand what else they've done? I can't think of what else they've done. I didn't look that up.
No, I think it's just an in-house Sony team that's worked on multiple, I can't tell you offhand, projects. They're not their specific remaster studio, but they've helped out on that kind of stuff before.
Okay. So we'll keep our eyes on that and see if we get more trailers and gameplay and see what that looks like as it's coming out. I don't think we didn't even get a release date, so no idea how soon it's coming. Probably not soon. A couple years out, I would think.
I think the people are saying they've been working on it already. It's already been in development for a bit.
Right. Okay.
So there's a chance it's been worked on for a bit still, but I would say at least 2 years before it comes out.
Okay.
Hopefully, the developers making it were fans of the original.
Yeah. I mean, I
feel like
they definitely are, because I know in interviews they pitched this project. They wanted to make this,
Right.
So they had a Star Wars pitch, and they were like, hell yeah, they fucking picked us to Lucas, Lucas Games liked our pitch, we get to do it.
Because I feel like, for instance, Final Fantasy VII, when they remade that, I felt like it's still Square Enix, so they were like, let's just do it different. And all the fans of the old game were like, this isn't even remotely the same.
I do wonder, just because everyone knows the big story beat in this one, you gonna do something different just because everyone knows the twist? I won't say it in case you somehow don't, but like there's, yeah, like
I'm wondering too,
like me saying there's a twist is almost a spoiler.
I'm wondering too if the combat's the same. Like, are they going to stick it turn based, or is it going to be more? Yeah,
something's changed. Either it'll be more like Dragon Age, or they'll modernize it into a real time action game.
Okay.
See, that's what I'm afraid of, because that was one of the luring things to Final Fantasy VII original one, and then they turned it into like an action game, and that like I was in, and then I wasn't.
Yeah.
Like, oh, it's an action game. No, F you, not playing it.
Yeah, I'm hoping.
Yeah, a lot of these games
do some more of a mix of like a modern turn time based game, like a not even a Persona, but what was off the top of my head? Some of the older Final Fantasies like have done it well, and I like the new Yakuza 7 Like a Dragon did the blending of like real time and turn based very well. Like you were able to like, it was still turn based in the selection screen, but you're able to move the characters around the battlefield almost like live, kind of, and position them so that actually impacts stuff. It's not like a static field of people. I think there's a lot of cool ways to do it, so I'm very excited when we get this trailer for what this game's gonna be. And just kind of we talked about this in the pre-show. This game runs on phones now. I really want to see if they will leverage next-gen hardware to really make this game fucking pop.
Yeah, because there's not a lot here. It's just a reveal trailer saying, hey, this game is coming and we're the ones making it. That's it. There's no gameplay, there's no story, there's no nothing. This is it.
Fuck you, BioWare.
Yeah, they got enough on their plate, really.
Anthem
next
2.
we got... yeah.
Woohoo!
So also from the PlayStation Showcase, Insomniac gave us a new trailer for Marvel's Spider-Man 2. The trailer seems to feature narration by Kraven the Hunter, and it reveals Venom, voiced by Tony Todd, which I think is a fucking excellent voice cast for that. The only bad thing about the trailer is that they said the release date isn't until sometime in 2023, so we gotta wait 2 years at least probably for this game.
What else has Tony Todd done?
I know what he was. I think Candyman, right? Isn't Tony Todd? I can't think of what else he's done. But yes, he's a recognizable voice. I feel like if you heard him,
okay.
More like the deep gravelly type of voice.
All right.
What else did they do? And I think what was probably the most surprising reveal for me off of the PlayStation event, Insomniac also announced they are making a single-player, story-driven Wolverine game.
Oh, I saw the trailer for that. It looked awesome.
Yeah.
Or not a trailer. It's like a little teaser.
Yeah, and if you did not know going in that was a Wolverine game, like, you don't know it's him until he pops the claws at the end of the trailer, which was a fucking cool reveal.
Wasn't it? And the graphics were amazing.
Yes. So Insomniac made a fucking killer Spider-Man game, and I cannot wait for, well, technically two, because they did Miles Morales too. Miles Morales was also a fucking great game. So I am ecstatic for Spider-Man 2. I'm going to have to find myself a PS5 between now and 2023. But I will definitely be looking at and keeping an eye on Wolverine, because there's no release date for this yet either. So I don't know when this is coming.
It's at least 2024 because no release date. And my only concern is Wolverine has a similar problem to Superman with his regeneration ability. It just can be difficult to make the game difficult, so it's a fun game.
The movie was terrible. The X-Men Origins movie was terrible, but the X-Men Origins Wolverine game was fucking great. And I don't remember who made that off the top of my head. Maybe Raven. I think Raven Software did that. But that game was awesome. So as far as like movie tie-in games, that was awesome. And I think right now my top tier Wolverine game. I mean, I like all the like Ultimate Alliance games and some of those team games, but as far as like single player Wolverine game, that's the one that that's the bar
no way,
for me.
man. Nintendo Entertainment System Wolverine, that shit was hard.
I remember that game being hard as shit. I remember playing at your house and never getting past like level 2. Fuck that game.
The crazy part was there was only 2 levels.
Oh, see, we were halfway there and I didn't even know it. All right. Go ahead. Sorry, Andy.
You said they made a killer Spider-Man game, but I really hope that they sort of go a little bit more brutal with the Wolverine, because I know like Spider-Man really doesn't kill people, or whatever, or it tries not to. I feel like I would love to see some like Wolverine rage moments.
I think Insomniac
almost like Logan, but
I mean, I think Insomniac gets a handle on these characters. I think they know exactly what to do with them. Again, just from basing it off of Spider-Man and some of their other character-driven games, I think they can nail character. And I think they know what fans would probably want out of a Wolverine game, which is what you're describing. So right. I'm expecting that stuff. All right, so what else we got? First trailer for Disney Plus's and Marvel's Hawkeye series dropped. So the series confirms a November 24th release date. We will be getting the first 2 episodes on that date. Netflix is making an anime series for Tomb Raider. The series will take place after the events of Square Enix's rebooted Tomb Raider trilogy, and it is confirmed that Haley Atwell will voice Lara Croft, which I am all for.
Haley Atwell.
Peggy Carter.
Oh, shit, nice.
What else we got? In the story that might have had Andy wet himself, I think, when it was announced, Sony TV and PlayStation are working on a live-action Twisted Metal series with a take on it from Deadpool writers Rhett Reese and Paul Wernick, and we'll have Anthony Mackie in the lead as John Doe.
Yeah. I'm pumped about this.
Yeah, I think we talked off air about that, but I think, you've been harping, let's see some more Twisted Metal shit, whether it's a game or a series or movie or something. So you're getting something.
Yeah, the game they released for PS3, I think it was just called Twisted Metal, was sort of, in my opinion, a disservice to fans. It just didn't have the meat that all the other ones did.
Yeah.
Like, you can only play, 3 characters, and there were only, 3 stories. And the awesome part about Twisted Metal in the past was every character had a story, and you could, play through it, and it was pretty cool. So,
right.
I do know that the original creator of Twisted Metal, and, he made all, he was the producer of all the games or whatever. I think his last name is Jaffe. I can't remember his first name. Has nothing to do with either the show or the new game coming up. So, and he's a little jaded about that.
So, are they doing it? I'm assuming I assumed they'd probably do a tie-in game of some kind, but I don't know if I saw that somewhere. Are they doing a new game? Do you know?
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought I read that they're doing a show and a game, coinciding.
Okay. I mean, that would make sense. You use one to promote the other.
Right. And I want to say, did you already mention that Falcon was going to be?
Yeah. Yeah, okay. Anthony Mackie is in the lead.
And the only character from the Twisted Metal games that I can remember that was a John Doe was, I want to say Roadkill in Twisted Metal Black was John Doe.
Okay. I think I vaguely remember that character.
So he may be playing Roadkill, like the car.
Yeah. Nice. All right, so we'll keep an eye on that, see if we get a trailer or some other announcements between now and then. No release date on that, so I don't know when it's coming, but it's being worked on. November 12th has been labeled as Disney Plus Day, since that marks the 2nd anniversary of the launch of Disney Plus. Disney has revealed there are a bunch of premieres and specials dropping on the service that day, including, if you have not seen Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, that will be on Disney Plus for, not premiere access, just for everybody. On November 12th, Jungle Cruise drops that day. We get a Star Wars special look at something, which I think is thought to be some sort of look at the Boba Fett series, or just Boba Fett in general.
Is Jungle Cruise going to be premiere?
No, I think all of these are just for subscribers of the service, no premiere access or anything like that.
Okay.
And we're getting some sort of, it didn't tell us what, but some sort of Marvel special look. So we'll have to see what that is on November 12th. And speaking of the Boba Fett series, the Book of Boba Fett, well, we got a release date. That debuts on Disney Plus on December 29th. So I'm looking forward to that one for sure.
This month.
December.
This year.
December, yes, this year. December 29th, yes. Warner Brothers has shifted the release date for the 3rd Fantastic Beasts movie. Fantastic Beasts, The Secret of Dumbledore, has been moved up 3 months from July 15th to April 15th, 2022. And we will see how this movie handles Mads Mikkelsen replacing Johnny Depp as Grindelwald. James Gunn confirmed that Will Poulter has been added to Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 and will play Adam Warlock, who was teased at the end credits of Volume 2.
And do you know who Will Poulter is?
I know he was in We're the Millers.
Oh, okay, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, I know he's been in some other stuff, but that's the first one that came to my mind.
Maze Runner and...
Yeah.
Yeah, a couple other things, but...
So what else we got? Nintendo had a digital event about some upcoming projects. The one announcement that seemed to send shockwaves through the internet was the announcement of an animated Super Mario Bros. Movie, which is scheduled to release on December 21st, 2022. I don't think it was the announcement of the movie that had the internet buzzing. It was the cast. So I'm going to go through the cast, and we can talk about some of this for a little bit.
I mean, though, but you can get a chance, though, does it have Bob Hoskins and Dennis Hopper starring in a movie? You got to do it, right?
Yeah, I think you're a little bit outdated. And for
I
as
don't think so.
kind of crappy as that movie is, I fucking love it. So I will defend that movie. Fucking John Leguizamo as Luigi. I love it. Let's go. So for this movie, we have Chris Pratt as Mario, Anna Taylor-Joy as Peach. I can understand that. I'm good with that. Charlie Day as Luigi, Jack Black as Bowser, Keegan-Michael Key as Toad, Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong, Fred Armisen as Cranky Kong, Kevin Michael Richardson as Kamek. I don't know if I knew who that is.
That's the wizard.
Okay. Sebastian Maniscalco as Spike. And Charles Martinet, who is actually the voice of Mario in the games, is only listed as having surprise cameos. So I don't know how I feel, but like I can't tell what kind of tone this movie is going for. None of this voice cast seems like it fits. Like, aside from maybe like I could see Anna Taylor-Joy as Peach, Michael Key as Toad fits for me. Everybody else, I'm like, what the fuck is this movie trying to do?
Well, Jack Black as Bowser makes sense to me. Like, he does a lot of good voice work, and I think he can get to like that growler level, but like he doesn't have to be like, you know, like gravel in his throat, but I think he can do like a evil fire lizard thing.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'll
hope
give
he
you
doesn't
that.
sound like Kung Fu Panda Turtle.
Right. Like I don't know. It's
I mean, going through this list, it's the one where you're like, okay, I understand exactly what this cast list is when you get to Seth Rogen, and it's okay. We need this movie needs to sell. We're getting the Minions people to make it. Fuck the video games. There's no story, there's no lore, so it's gonna be whatever. Just throw a bunch of names in there because we needed it to make like, you know, let's say $750. So there's your cast list. That's your let's make $750 cast list.
I really want to see the trailer. Like I have a lot of resentment to it right now. I'm very hesitant to this movie, but the trailer and seeing it all come together may change my mind. But right now, I have a very low expectation, I think, for this movie. And how much of it is it a slap in the face if you are the voice of Mario and you don't get Mario,
okay,
and then you just be surprised?
Do you know that voice?
I couldn't tell you the name behind the voice, but if I heard him talk as Mario, I'd be like, oh yeah, that's Mario.
And you want that for 2 hours? No, that's why he's not voicing Mario. That's not a 2-hour voice. That's okay, the game booted up voice, and I jumped voice. You know, that's not a it's not a drive of a plot voice.
I can't imagine he has more than like 10 phrases that he says in any video game. So
I think there's games.
I don't know that he could really carry a movie by talking like Mario.
I think there's definitely Mario games that I haven't played where he's talked more, that are a little bit more plot driven. But yeah, I think the ones that come to mind, yeah, it's a lot of just grunting and jumping noises. And
like the ones that are more plot driven, other people talk to Mario.
Right.
You know, it's not Mario
driving
it.
Fair point.
Like the only times Mario even pretends to talk are like the Paper Mario games that aren't voiced.
Okay. All right, well, that's my Mario game ignorance then. But yeah, I don't know. It's just my, I guess, distaste. I'm curious to see how this goes. My bar is low. I don't know. Are you guys looking forward to it, or? I'm
looking forward to it. I'm going to reserve judgment until I hear.
I just want it to get Sonic.
You know,
I want them to release a trailer, it to get ass blasted, and then they have to change something. That's all I want. Like, I don't care about anything else.
Sonic.
I just wanted to get Sonic.
That would actually be pretty funny.
It would also be funny to me if Sonic makes more money than this movie. He finally wins something.
I'm curious to see what kind of animation they're going to go with.
Oh yeah,
if it's going to be like more of a Pixar or more of like a cell shaded.
I think it'll be like the Minions movies. It's that studio. I assume it's going to look like that.
Okay.
My only question is if they start live action or if it's going to be fully animated.
Ian, is that DreamWorks? Is that who does it? Or...
Well, it's Illumination Studios.
Oh, that's right. Okay. Yeah. Okay. All right. Anything else for Mario Cast? I think that's all I got. Nothing. All right. So again, not too long ago, it's on. Pretty sure I put this on. I don't know if I put it on Twitter, but definitely on Facebook. I posted about how Marvel announced a bunch of new Untitled release dates. So they were putting out dates, but they didn't tell us what they were going to be. We can pretty much ignore all of that because just this week Disney announced that they were delaying a handful of movies over the next couple years, and a few of those dates just disappear from the schedule altogether. It's unclear if these projects themselves are gone or if just the release dates are being removed until things become a little bit more concrete, and then they'll do another, hey, we got stuff coming out these dates again. So I'm just going to go down the list of what's moving, and then we can talk about a little bit if we want to. Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness was set to come out March 25th, 2022. That has been delayed to May 6th, 2022. And then this becomes the domino effect of all of your Marvel movies having dates lined up that it just pushes everything else down the line. So Thor Love and Thunder was supposed to be May 6th, 2022. That got pushed to July 8th, 2022. Black Panther Wakanda Forever was supposed to be July 8th, 2022. That got pushed to November 11th, 2022. The Marvels, which was the Captain Marvel sequel that now has a couple other characters in it, was set to release November 11th, 2022. That got pushed to February 17th, 2023. Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumanium was supposed to be February 17th, 2023. That got pushed to July 28th, 2023. One of the Untitled Marvel movies was scheduled for November 10th, 2023. That got moved up a week to November 3rd, 2023. There were some other Untitled Marvel movies. One for July 28th, 2023 that has been removed. Another Marvel movie that was on October 6th, 2023 that has been removed. And then there's some other Disney titles that get shifted around too. Indiana Jones 5 was supposed to be July 29th, 2022. That got delayed almost a year to June 30th, 2023. An untitled live-action Disney movie from July 14th, 2023 is gone. And an untitled Fox movie under the 20th Century, I think, banner, because it's not 20th Century Fox anymore, it's just 20th Century. That was due out October 20th, 2023. That's been kicked and removed. So I think the reasoning behind it, like people were wondering, this came out right after DC FanDome, if DC movies and hype for the Batman was pushing Marvel movies back. This could not happen that quickly. These delays were in the works well before DC FanDome. The official PR press release has basically said, like, a lot of these movies just needed more time in production. They didn't want to rush it, so they're giving everybody a little bit more time, and pushing everybody back is the way to do it, just to keep everybody in line and on schedule. And everybody seemed to be fine for that, so that's what they ended up doing. You guys have anything to add for these?
I mean, this...
I'd rather them make a good movie and push it back, just to put, like, finishing touches on it, than rush one out.
Yeah.
So I'm okay with it.
Ian?
The only reason this gets announced is for shareholders.
Pretty much. Like, I can't keep track of the dates for these movies anyway, and I only sort of pay attention to them when they do stuff like this. And then I forget about them a week later. Especially because, over the last year and a half, everything moves every 3 months. You can't keep track of anything anymore, so who knows if even these dates hold. Mm-hmm. We'll talk about them if they shift, but this is where we're at right now.
Like, we recorded an episode last year, and now, like, a year later, if we weren't recording this bloat of a show, I could be watching Dune in my house.
You're not wrong. Yeah, what else was I gonna... Oh, so I know we talked about how, we were at the point where we're getting a Marvel movie every 2 months. Well, now we get that 3-month gap or something. No, it's going to be 5 months, because we're going to get Spider-Man in December. The next one after that was set to be Doctor Strange in March, and that has now been pushed to May. So we have a 5-month gap there between December and May where there's no Marvel stuff. So
you think people will forget?
Yeah, I hope not. I'm not gonna. I just wonder if they're gonna put out some other stuff on Disney Plus to hold us over until then, or if this is gonna be like some actual little drought. But we'll see. Anything else to add for this one, or move on? Nothing else?
Nope.
Okay. So this was kind of a big one for me today. This last minute addition to the show. Sony debuted the first trailer for their Uncharted movie, which was set to release on February 18th, 2022. The film was directed by Ruben Fleischer, who directed Zombieland 1 and 2 and the first Venom movie. The film will star Tom Holland as Nathan Drake and Mark Wahlberg as Nate's partner, Victor Sullivan. I've talked about this movie numerous times on the show before. It has been stuck in development hell for well over 10 years. Going back to like 2010, David O. Russell, who directed The Fighter, Silver Linings Playbook, American Hustle, like, you know, artist type of director, was attached to direct an Uncharted movie. Coincidentally, Mark Wahlberg was supposed to star in that movie as Nathan Drake. Russell's pitch for the movie had something where he was trying to push a family of treasure hunters that are, I think he quoted it as a force to be reckoned with in the world of international art and antiquities that deals with heads of state and heads of museums and metes out justice. It was rumored to have Robert De Niro play Nate's father and Joe Pesci as Nate's uncle. Nothing about the pitch for that movie sounds like it fits Uncharted if you've played any of the games. And
sounds like a mob movie.
Yeah. So that was the one that got a lot of traction for a while, and then the internet kind of exploded, and eventually, like a year later, sometime in 2011, David O. Russell backed out after numerous script changes and all this kind of stuff. He went on to make Silver Linings Playbook, so he was fine after that. He has nothing to worry about. And then the game continued to be stuck in development hell with a shift of writers, directors, just revolving door over and over and over again. It didn't seem like this was going to happen. So fast forward to today, we have our first look at the movie, what the movie feels like. We get a sense of the tone. Again, this is a movie I've been highly anticipating. While I think the trailer looks cool, I think it's taking a lot of iconography from the games. I'm having a hard time separating Nolan North's voice of Nathan Drake, and I'm trying really hard to take this for what it is, but it's like I can't separate that in my mind because I'm so married to it for the games, which is something I was afraid of. Like, I have such a love for this franchise as a video game that, and I might have questioned it at the time when Tom Holland was cast, that he looks too young, but I mean, Sony's going for young because they probably want this to be a franchise that lasts 10 years, so you want to get somebody in the role that's going to grow into it. I get that. But, I don't know. All those years that Nathan Fillion was rumored to be, or, you know, the fans were pushing for him to be the Nathan Drake, I think would have fit so much more. But
there was even a fan movie made,
right?
Which was actually pretty good.
Yeah, Nathan Fillion and some friends of his, I guess, made that just because they knew at this point he's never going to get Nathan Drake, and he's wanted to do it. The fans have wanted him to do it. So there was that 15-minute or 10-minute short film that came out a couple years ago that is great. So if you haven't found that and watched it, check it out. I know we talked about it on the show at the time it came out, but yeah, you know, Sony wants the star power. Uncharted itself, I don't think is enough to sell a movie. The brand is not that big. Yeah, so
Nathan
you can't
Fillion's
just
not a billion-dollar movie star.
Right, which is why he never got the role to begin with. They want the star power to push the movie, and Tom Holland is hot right now.
This is the Mario Brothers casting, part 2.
In a sense, yes. Yeah, just go for the star power, name recognition, put some people in there that people like, and let it roll. I just have to, me personally, I have to get better at separating the games and the movie and let the movie do its own thing and try to just take it for what it is. But it's also kind of difficult, I think, when the movie, at least the trailer, is trying to put a lot of like the greatest hits stuff in there from the game. So it's like I'm seeing stuff that I've played in the movie, which looks really cool, and then it's like you get to like Nathan Drake and some of the characters, and I'm like, it just doesn't look like it fits for me. But I don't know. I think that's just my own personal hurdle to get over. I am very excited for this. I am going to see it day one. It's just the trailer has me still, I don't know, not second guessing, but hesitant. I don't know. But Andy, you and I sort of talked before we started recording. You played what, the second game? Did you play any more than that?
No, I played the second game. That's it.
Okay. Did you finish it or just play it a little bit through?
Actually, it's one of the few ones that I did actually finish.
Okay. So you have a sense of what the franchise is and what the games have done. What did you think of the trailer?
The trailer to me seemed to show all of the action sequences more than it showed really anything else. And the action sequences look cool. There were a few points that didn't look doable, like almost like it was like a Transporter movie or like a Fast and Furious movie, you know, where like they defy gravity,
right?
You And I'm like, I don't know. Hopefully that's not the case.
No, they did the
because,
math. Ludacris got to space.
Oh. But I thought, from what I saw, Mark Wahlberg looked good as the older buddy guy, and that Nathan Drake himself looked good.
Yeah,
But I wasn't as sold on the voice as you were, so I thought he looked good.
Yeah, I think it looks like the game. I think it hits the tone of the game. The action isn't something I don't think I worried about, knowing that they were doing a movie like this. Like, I expected that kind of, even a little bit over the top like that, because I think the games are like that too. What they don't show enough about in the trailer, and I'm hoping, when you see the movie, there's a lot more of that in there, is just like the character dynamic between them. Like, I want to see more of like Nate and Sully just like going on adventures together, and that dynamic and how they work together and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's the fun parts about the game, in my opinion. Just the one game that I played, were the exploring, finding like the traps and puzzles and things like that.
Yeah.
More so than any of the fighting.
Yeah. Okay.
Sequences. So I liked the interaction between like all the characters and whatnot. I don't know. I liked the drama aspects of it more than I liked like the action sequences of it. So to see the trailer, all action, while it looks cool, I'm curious to see what the meat of the movie is going to be like, and I hope it's got some meat, I guess is what I'm trying to put it.
I think, again, I brought it up probably other times we talked about it, but I always saw the tones for these movies, or at least the Uncharted, if they made it into a movie, trying to mimic something like Indiana Jones or National Treasure. Like, that's the kind of tone and adventure kind of feel I think you need for these movies. I think it's getting there. It looks like they're leaning a lot more into the action, I think, than some of those movies do, and I think they're taking some of the bigger set pieces that are in the games that are much more action focused and putting them in the movie. So I don't know if that's just like, hey, we have one shot at making this movie good. Let's just pick whatever we can and throw it in there. Or if this is just a culmination of like having 100 people work on a script over and over again and revise it, that they're just picking and choosing what worked in some and just mashing it all together and making a movie. For a movie that goes into development hell for that long, it's hard to tell what comes out of it, what kind of mutation could be done for that long. I don't know. But either way, like I said, I am excited. I will see it either way. I'll give you the floor if you want to chime in. I know you said you haven't played the games and don't really give a shit about the trailer, really, but if you want to add something.
No.
Crickets. Okay. All right. Fair enough. Andy, anything else from you, or we'll move on?
I'll see it. I just hope that the coolest parts of the movie I haven't already seen.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think from here on out, I'm not going to watch any more trailers. I'll just see it when it comes out. But
there's also a movie I'm anticipating that was in development hell for years and was considered unfilmable. So, we'll see how that goes for me.
Is that one that's out or coming out?
It's called Dune. You may have heard of it.
Oh. Well, I'm planning to see that this weekend, so
me too.
We'll reconvene. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, maybe we'll do a podcast on it.
Yeah, maybe we'll see it together even.
That could be a thing. Andy, you plan on seeing Dune? You're gonna go to the theater or at least watch it at home?
I would love to see Dune, and I would love to see it in the theater because I think it looks really fucking cool. But I'm a little hesitant because all the Dune movies that my dad used to watch, I didn't understand because I was too young, and they were fucking weird, and I didn't get it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm a little hesitant just from that aspect, but all the trailers make it look really fucking cool, so I really do want to see it. And, like, he read the books, and he loved the movie, and then I think the Sci-Fi had, like, a miniseries as well that he liked, and people rave about the books, so I don't know. I'm like in the middle. I don't have, like, great high expectations, but I do want to see it because I feel like that is a must-see in the theater experience instead of...
Right.
I got a pretty decent-sized TV, but it's definitely not, like, the experience of the theater.
Right. Well, if you get around to it, let us know. We'll try to wait till everybody sees it and get a podcast together for it. Okay.
Yeah, I want to see that in the Eternals, so...
Yeah, that'll be another one to talk about in a couple weeks, too. For sure. All right, so we'll move on to... So, the DC FanDome stuff's next. I kind of just started bullet pointing some of the recap that has gone on through the event, so we'll sort of use it like the quick hit stuff. I'll go through what we got, and if these guys want to chime in and we want to stop on something for a little bit, we can do that. Otherwise, I'll just try to keep on rolling. So last weekend, DC held their second digital-only event, which was a 4-hour-ish presentation about what they got coming up. Again, we're going to run through it quickly. If you're here to listen to what we think about the trailer for The Batman, I am sorry to disappoint you. We will not be covering that. All three of us would rather avoid any other trailers going forward. So at this point, the movie releases in March. We'll talk about it after it releases and we see it. Other than that, we'll move on. First thing to open the show, we had The Rock introduce us to a first look at Black Adam, which releases in theaters July 29th, 2022. There was no trailer. It was like, hey, this is sort of what we're trying to do for the movie. Here's a quick clip of when characters stumble upon Black Adam for the first time, which looked really cool. Like, he seems like a badass, so I'm curious to see how this works in the rest of the movie, but, you know, that was cool. I'm for it.
I got a vibe of Ian's buddy's directorial DC universe. That's the vibe I got.
Zack Snyder
from this. Yep.
Did you watch that clip, Ian? I don't remember if you watched it.
No, but I guess I have to now because apparently me and Zach wrote some dollars.
Didn't you get that vibe like it was a darker, more gritty?
Yeah. Well, I mean, Shazam had pieces of stuff like that. Like, it somehow veered into that dark tone and then just snapped right back to like a kid's movie. Not as often as like a Zack Snyder thing, but
yeah, but I mean, Marvel sort of like hedges that line too. But
right.
Snyder went like past
yeah.
it, you know, like.
But I mean, Black Adam is supposed to be more or less some sort of what am I thinking of? Like antagonist to Shazam. I always thought that was how it sort of worked. So at some point, you feel like Black Adam is going to have to somehow interact with Shazam, and Shazam seems to be a lighter tone movie. So I don't know if Black Adam's going to stay there. But yes, from the little clip that we get, it did seem like it was leaning that direction. So I mean, that's an interaction I'm anticipating. I want to see Shazam and Black Adam finally get together and see what that showdown's like. I don't think we'll get it in either the Shazam sequel or this Black Adam movie. It's got to be somewhere down the line, but
I don't know.
I'm looking forward to that for sure.
It's not what they did last time.
Like the credit hits, you know, like
could be, yeah. Yeah, and you'd like to think what they did last time they learned from it since it didn't really work that well, but I guess we'll see. I could be wrong.
I mean, I think everyone enjoyed Zack Snyder's Justice League.
I did enjoy it. I can't fault you for that one.
Yeah, I liked it.
Another thing we got, Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom is in production. So all they shared was a behind the scenes video for that. The movie releases December 16th, 2022. That just had like the director James Wan and why can't I think of his name? Who plays Aquaman? What the fuck? Jason Momoa. They were going around set talking about what the movie's gonna do, showed some production concept art and stuff like that. So not a lot there. They're making another one. If you like the first one, I'm sure you'll like this one. I kind of iffy on the middle of the road for the first one. It was fine, I think, but we'll see. Andy, you watch this one, right?
Yes. I just hope that the new one sort of fixes the problem where, like, the problem always finds him.
Oh yeah.
When he's just like. Have a conversation. Something explodes. Got to go do this. Having a conversation. Something explodes. Got to go do this. Having a conversation. Something explodes. Got to go do this. He said it was going to be more mature, so I hope it's more, you know, like, I don't know how to even put it.
They're blood explosions this time.
Yeah.
You know, I only saw the first one once, and I kind of forgot about the explosion transition to new things until you just mentioned it, and I'm like, yeah, that movie did do that. God damn it.
Yeah, well, not necessarily explosions, but like someone would burst through a wall and you're like, oh, I gotta fight this guy, and then like they would do their thing, and then like something would happen, and I gotta fight this guy now. You know, there was always that like.
Yeah, I do remember that.
Now this.
Yeah,
now this.
Like the propelling of the story just seemed like it was rocky.
Fine, like a couple times.
But I mean, that can also
like,
work.
I would
really
like
well,
them to.
Like
they can.
Because like that's basically John Wick. You know, just keep happening. Thing. Okay, breather because I'm hurt. Happening.
Overarching, like his overarching like theme, I guess, is better. I don't know.
Well, I mean,
yeah, I don't know. I
the
think
first one. The
definitely
story's
with
just
Andy.
my
I think
dog died. You know, like that's all it is. Dog died. I gotta kill that guy from Game of Thrones.
That's like, you know, what you're describing. You're not wrong. I don't know why John Wick seems to do it so much better than what the first Aquaman did. when essentially, yeah, they work on the same like story transition and pacing kind of that
John
way.
Wick
but
doesn't talk, you can put yourself in the role really easily, just like The Matrix, because Keanu
maybe,
Reeves has
yeah,
no
that-
personality.
I can't argue that. That could be right too.
Yeah, but I hope it's more like predetermined. Like I don't know. I felt like Aquaman could have used some story smoothing. I suppose
Yeah, I would
instead of
agree.
like valleys and hills.
Yeah. All right, so next one we got, they had a new trailer for Rocksteady's Suicide Squad game, Kill the Justice League. Still no gameplay, so I still have no idea how this game will play, what it looks like, but I mean, the tone they showed in the trailer I think looks fun. It fits Suicide Squad, so that looks cool.
So what has Bebop and Rocksteady worked on before?
Rocksteady has done the Arkham series of the Batman games.
Oh, okay, like the old like PS
Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, Arkham Knight. That was Rocksteady.
Okay.
Yeah, they didn't do the really bad one.
Yeah, Arkham Origins was not Rocksteady.
And that was the one that faced not great.
That was it was not the. I haven't played it because I heard it was crap, or at least crap compared to the other ones. But yeah, I don't think it was as well received as the other three were.
That's putting it kindly.
Next up, we got our first trailer for James Gunn's Peacemaker series for HBO Max, and we finally got a release date for that. So it hits January 13th, 2022. I mean, the trailer looks probably about as fun and weird as I'd expect from a show like this. I think John Cena looks like he's having a time of his life playing this character, which I think just makes it fun and kind of makes me want to watch it.
I still haven't seen the first or the newer Suicide Squad movie, so
Okay,
I can't really speak to him being in the role. So I didn't watch the trailer because I figured there might be spoilers.
fair enough.
I feel like the character is if they ever actually had John Cena turn heel in wrestling. Like, this is almost what it'd be like a comical sociopath Captain America thing, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I'm just wondering how that's gonna... We talked about it, I think, when we reviewed the movie. I'm very curious how it's gonna work as a TV show.
Yeah. I think there's definitely an arc that needs to be had for Peacemaker. I'm wondering if he's going to turn the corner one way or the other, or if it's just going to be like, this is what he is, and this is how he reacts to things.
That, and I think his character works better with other characters, so
Right.
hopefully there's some reoccurring people that play off him well.
Yeah, he does have a supporting cast that seems to spin off from the Suicide Squad movie, the majority. So, yeah, we'll have to see how that dynamic works and how they all play off each other, but I'm looking forward to it. I think it should be fun. Next up, we had a segment that celebrated the 20th anniversary of Smallville. I mean, that seemed cool. I never actually watched the series, so I couldn't really get invested in that portion. But I know Smallville has a big following. There's a lot of people that like that show. So if you enjoy Smallville and want a little recap and look back at the 20th anniversary, that's out there. You can find that video online. Check it out.
I've seen like 2 episodes of Smallville, and they were both the same episode, probably like a year apart, and they were both the entire length of the show runtime for that single episode was like an advertisement for Stride gum. What kind of gum was it?
Wait, it was just an ad for gum?
Was it 5 Gum?
Yeah. No, it wasn't 5 because that was before 5 came around. But it was like a Eclipse, maybe. No, I can't remember what the fuck it was. No, but
Starburst.
Starburst is a gum.
But like some kind of shit happened at a gum factory, and it was like every scene had packs of that gum like flying in your face because of the action that was happening. And I'm like, this is the fucking worst advertisement I have ever fucking seen. And my buddy was like, "See, isn't it great? Isn't Smallville great?" I'm like, I'm never watching this fucking shit again. I don't like need to buy their gum, and I don't need Superman to sell me fucking gum. And he's not even Superman yet.
Would you give the series a shot, or is that those 2 episodes, the one episode you saw twice, has just ruined you?
Fuck no.
Fair enough. What else we got? Superman's slogan has changed from truth, justice, and the American way to truth, justice, and a better tomorrow. The internet seemed to have field day with that one, but deal with it.
Yeah, I mean, the people are upset about it, but like the whole point of that is just to make the character have broader global appeal.
Yeah. Like, yeah, I don't. Everybody sees stuff as a personal attack. That's not attacking you or the way you do things. It's just
They didn't
Superman
seem
is
to
meant to
react
be the
this
beacon of
way
hope.
when Superman was a communist.
Right. Yeah. All right. Next up, there is a animated movie called DC's League of Super Pets that's apparently happening.
Fuck yeah,
that releases May 20th, 2022. We got a mid-season trailer for Doom Patrol's third season. I mean, that's a show that's on my back catalog. I haven't started it, so I didn't watch the trailer, but, it's out there if you want to check it out. Another thing we got... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I've heard it's good, but I haven't checked it out myself.
Yeah, I've heard that and Titans is good, but they're both on my back catalog. I haven't watched those, haven't dove into those yet and started checking them out.
I've also heard Titans is really good.
Ezra Miller's Flash movie is currently in production, and we got a little bit of a teaser video. It wasn't labeled as a trailer, just kind of showing clips and some scenes, I guess, from the movie to tease what's out there. It definitely seems like they're going for the Flashpoint storyline, which I think we talked about and was mentioned as far as like the plot synopsis when the movie was happening. The video that they showed is narrated by Michael Keaton. We do see a Batman cowl, so I mean, all that I think was confirmed in the casting anyway, so that's not really a surprise, but it's still really cool to, I think, see that sort of coming together. It definitely got me excited for the movie. Did either of you check out that video?
I think the most was you almost see him pull the sheet off of what I can only assume is the Batmobile.
Right.
And then the video goes black, and I'm like, son of a...
Well, they know how to tease you.
Yeah.
Ian, did you check that one out or no?
No, I think I said most of these, like, wait and see the movie. I really only do trailers when I know going in we're discussing them. The only thing I'm still, I guess, curious about is why Keaton.
What do you mean?
There's other Batmen.
It's probably one of those things like he.
And
I
plus,
feel like
Keaton, I think, is
wasn't...
more known for his role as Birdman, the superior superhero film,
which is just his play on Batman, more or less.
It was really good.
You're not wrong. But I mean, I think I always feel like, Keaton always said he was never going to come back to Batman. So I think it's fun that they just backed up a truckload of money and said, here, come be Batman again. And he goes, okay.
I just forget Birdman 2 out of it. Sure.
Yeah, it could be. Netflix is making a live action Sandman show. They teased a poster that showed a first look of Gwendolyn Christie as Lucifer Morningstar. So that is out there too if you want to first look at a character.
I'm pretty excited about this. Neil Gaiman wrote this originally as a graphic novel, I believe, and I've always wanted to get into it, but I just back catalog never really got to it. So I'm pretty curious to see this.
The Sandman universe is big because, like Andy, I've always wanted to start reading it, but when you see all of the Sandman books and stuff, you're like, this might be an undertaking. And Neil Gaiman's a great writer. I've read some of his stuff. He had that is that other show on Netflix, that the Good Omens. Good Omens. I read that book. He was a co-writer on. That was really good. He had a great collection of just Norse mythology stories that I really enjoyed. So I
read that one too. It was very good.
Yeah, he's an amazing writer, and I'm very excited to see. The show is probably how I'll get into Sandman now, and it'll force me into the comic books, assuming they don't, fuck it up.
I feel like and I didn't have enough time to try to research a little bit more, but I think there are two different Sandman things going on right now. I think there's the live action show that's going to Netflix, and I don't remember if it's Netflix or somewhere else, but I'm pretty sure there's an audio show going on that I'm trying to remember. It was a pretty big cast, top build cast, I think, that they had for the audio show. I remember James McAvoy, I think, was part of it. I don't remember who he's playing.
Kat Dennings was Death, I think.
Oh, that might be right, yeah. So I don't remember the full list, but there is definitely some sort of audio Sandman thing out there. So feel free to check that out. I can try to update later if I remember to look it up and post about it or something. But
he won't.
Yeah, probably not, because I'm already trying to move on to the next thing. But yeah, it's definitely something that's out there. I think it has at least started now. I thought I saw a commercial or something for some sort of second chapter or season or however they do the audio part of it. But
yeah, the second one is out now, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, because they released the first season free on one of the Audible, maybe? Was it Audible?
Okay, that would make sense. Yeah.
But I don't know. I was hesitant about that because I'm not sure how well a graphic novel reads, like audio wise.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of visual elements to that, But
Well, I guess it'd be the same as doing just like an audiobook.
Well,
Like
I
a
wonder if
novel
it's more
reading,
like
too.
one of the old school radio plays.
Which could be. Yeah, I guess if anybody's listened to it, feel free to leave us a comment. Let us know what you think, if it's any good. All right, next up, the story of the Injustice video game is being turned into an animated movie. They showed a clip from the film, which looked to be basically the moment that would send Superman over the edge. The film is actually available now on home video. The little bit that I got from the clip, I mean, it fits what I know of the Injustice story. The one thing that stuck out to me for the little bit that it showed, whoever voices the Joker, I felt like was way off. Like, that just took me out of it completely. Everything else I think was fine, but the voice of the Joker, I was like, what the hell are they going for here? But
he was way darker than what I was expecting.
yeah,
honestly.
I don't know. It's so weird to me. Like, I don't think I
But it's a pretty dark storyline, so
Right.
I actually sort of enjoyed that.
I mean, I don't know, maybe it's just me personally, but I feel like there's something about voice actors and characters that when I get a voice married to a character, it's so difficult for me to separate that voice from someone else doing the voice. Do you know what I mean?
You were hoping Mark Hamill.
Like, I can't, every time I hear Batman that's not Kevin Conroy or hear Joker that's not Mark Hamill, it fucks with me so bad. I don't know if that's just me, but that's the kind of stuff that I go through with animated movies is like, it really takes me a bit to get into it and get used to people voicing characters that are different than what I'm expecting or used to. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm sure I'd try to watch the movie at some point, but that little clip, the Joker thing threw me off. Ian, did you check out the clip or anything about the movie?
I watched the FanDome thing they had on it, had the small clip, and then, some stuff with the video game, and then they had, I thought, a very pleasant interview. Jeff Keighley interviewing Justin Hartley, who's voicing Superman, who voiced Quiver Queen, in Smallville. So they got Green Arrow from Smallville to voice Superman, and they of course had the only Ed Boon there, who is the big guy at Neversoft that basically created not just Injustice but Mortal Kombat and like voiced characters in Mortal Kombat and still does. Like they even put him in the new Mortal Kombat movie to do voices like parts. And one thing that I think Ed Boon pointed out that I think is really cool about this is he's so used to being on the other side of it, where you make video games about movies and comic books, and now he's been able to create something that's gone the other direction. And he talked about just how cool it is to like create something and see it keep expanding and expanding. First with the comic book series they did, and now this animated film. I think it's going to be really cool. I played the second game because it was like free with Games with Gold or something. I enjoyed it, but I'm not a super huge fighting game guy. So like that's why I probably never got through all of them, but I always really interested in the story. So I'm real keen to check this out. I mean, it's got like Laura Bailey in it too, who I think we all know is a very big video game voice actress. So I think it's got a nice cast. I didn't have the issue with the Joker myself because I'm just not built that way, built different.
Right. That's fine. I get it.
I think it's really cool because it's a much more epic, I think, version of Marvel's Civil War. Like, I think more's on the line almost. Like, it's just grander scale because of the type of superpowers involved, and that it's less register for the American government and more Superman is the government.
Yeah. Yeah, I do think the like I've played both Injustice 1 and 2, and I think the story for both of those games is fantastic. Like, they set up a really cool world and a chain of events, and, like, you believe it. Like, this could be the thing that sets Superman over the edge. And I'm like, yes, I get it, I understand. And then, the heroes pick sides. Like, there's some people that swear allegiance to Superman, and, Batman and some others lead the resistance against Superman. Like, that's a really cool type of story to tell. So, yeah, I'd be curious how closely, or if the animated movie does a little bit different storytelling and take the story maybe different directions than what the games did. I didn't read the comic, so I don't know if the comic did anything different or if it was more a literal adaptation of the game story.
Right, so did the comic come out after the game, or did the game spawn because of the comic?
I think the game was first, and then the comic came next.
The game told a completely original story.
Okay. I don't remember the submarine in the original game, honestly, but I know, like, I think the stuff that makes Superman go crazy is essentially the same in both, but I think it's different in like how it happens.
Yeah, I think the moral of the story is the Joker tricks Superman into killing Lois Lane.
Right.
And then that makes him go crazy. And that's the story. How do you stop Superman when he goes nuts?
Right.
And I think we know. You just watch Batman versus Superman.
All the secrets are there. All right, anything else for Injustice?
Okay. I'm pretty excited about it.
Yeah. I mean, it's available to buy or rent now. So really, if you wanted to, I don't know when it's going to hit HBO Max. I don't know if they have a timetable for that, but it is available on like 4K Blu-ray and stuff and digital today. All right, next we have, and I think I kind of forgot they were making this, but they're making a Blue Beetle movie. They had directors Angel Manuel Soto and Gareth Junet Alsacor. Debuted the first look at the suit, which I think the suit for Blue Beetle looks pretty cool. I don't really know too much about the character, but the suit itself looked really cool. So we'll see where the movie goes. We get a new trailer for Gotham Knights, which sets up the Court of Owls story for the game. I think the trailer didn't really show any gameplay, very little, I think, if any. So I'd still like to see more information there and how this game plays. It seems like it's setting itself up to be a co-op game. I don't remember if they confirmed that yet or not. It seems like it's in the vein of the Arkham games. I don't know if it's meant to be a sequel series to the Arkham games. Like, I'm curious how all that fits, if it's its own thing or somewhere in the timeline. But either way, I think it looks interesting, and I would like to try it and see how it goes. I love the Arkham games. If it's anything like that, I am on board. Next, we got a animated movie for Catwoman called Catwoman Hunted, which has Catwoman attempting to steal a priceless jewel that puts her squarely in the crosshairs of both a power consortium of villains, the ever-resourceful Interpol, and Batwoman. They're describing this movie as having an anime-inspired style, and it actually releases on my birthday, February 8th, 2022.
Woot woot!
Ian, I think you said you watched this one, right?
Oh, yeah. So I'm really intrigued by this one. It's directed by, and it'll be his first solo directing job, Shinsuke Terasawa, who's done different art for a bunch of different anime, including the 2014 Pokemon movie and also several Lupin animated films. So I don't know if you guys know about Lupin the Third, but
I do not.
It's a character from the 70s that's still a new show, like anime, just came out this season, like last month, where it's basically, this world famous criminal that goes around stealing stuff, right? So I think it's gonna be
I've seen some Lupin. I want to say it used to be on Adult Swim, maybe?
Correct, yeah. So they had some of the older ones on there, both places.
I always get those two confused.
Because they had it on both. That's what's really confusing. And now Toonami airs during Adult Swim's time block on Saturdays. So it's even more confusing.
The fuck?
They also made a live action Lupin movie and in the US. And it's a really cool capers. They've had some amazing Lupin films. The first Lupin film was directed by the guy who started up Ghibli Studios. So it's a proud history there. And I think with this Catwoman thing, if they do that, like a caper film with Catwoman, I think it could be really cool. And of course, it heavily featured this trailer, Batwoman. So I'm really excited to see her as well, as I'm a big fan of Batwoman as well. So I think this project could be something super cool, and hopefully Warner keeps doing this kind of thing like we talked about with Visions last week, just letting other people take stabs at their properties.
Yeah, I don't know if they've done any other, not that I've followed a lot of the animations for like the animated movies and stuff like that, like what kind of animation style they used. Because I guess this does seem a little bit different than what I've seen anyway.
I mean, to me, I was like clearly like, oh, that's anime.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's the first one they did like that. Do you know one way or the other?
I don't know for sure, but it's the only one I've recalled seeing that looks like this, and not their more typical stuff from like Young Justice or, the Killing Joke or something.
Right, okay.
I think the animation looks really cool, and it looks like a pretty interesting premise.
Yeah, I have fallen so far behind on like the DC animated stuff, but I know a lot of it is on HBO Max, but it's all part of my back catalog of shit that I probably needed to sit down and try to get through, but I know there's a lot on there that I think look interesting and I'd like to watch. This does look cool too. I would like to check this out. I don't know if I probably wouldn't get it when it comes out, but if it's HBO Max at some point, I'll probably try to watch it. Along with Catwoman, there were 5 other animated movies set to be released that they talked about. They have Constantine, The House of Mystery, which features the voice of Matt Ryan as Constantine, who plays Constantine on Legends of Tomorrow. Teen Titans Go and DC Superhero Girls Mayhem in the Multiverse is another one they're going to do. Green Lantern Beware My Power is coming. DC Battle of the Super Sons will be the first CG animated movie for DC. And then they're doing Batman The Long Halloween Deluxe Edition, which brings both parts of that story into one movie, and it will be released on 4K for the first time. What else we got? Legends of Tomorrow celebrates its 100th episode. I love this show a lot, actually. I fell behind the last couple seasons, so I'm not up to date, so I didn't really watch anything like celebrating the milestone. But I don't know, like having watched like Arrow, Flash, Supergirl, Legends of Tomorrow was in that block. All 4 of those shows were the ones that were on concurrently and crossing over for big events and stuff like that. I started not really caring about Legends. Legends has become one of my favorite shows on the CW right now. It's so weird and funny and like self-deprecating and stuff, but it's really fun if you are looking for a DC show to jump into. I don't know if you can just jump into this one because it takes like side characters from Flash and Arrow and puts them into their own series, so it helps having a little bit of that background. And you know, the CW shows get a little bit confusing when you get to the crossover episodes and you're only watching one show. You're not really sure what the hell's going on as far as the greater story, but
just like comic books. Hey,
yeah, they really lean into that kind of thing, and I think Legends does it so well, where it's so fucking weird, and it took it probably a season or 2 to find its tone and how they wanted to fit and separate itself from the other DC shows. But I think they hit their stride, and I think they're doing really good work with that show. So if you're curious, I highly recommend that show. Check it out. Something I don't know if I realized was happening, but they were making a Batgirl live action movie. They had the directors, Adley El Arbi and Bilal Fallah there, the writer Christina Hodson, and apparently will star Leslie Grace as Barbara Gordon. So they talked a little bit about like the production, what they're going for, that kind of thing. That Barbara will have a cowl with her red hair. Apparently that was a big thing. They showed production art for that and said this is what it's going to look like. So that's a thing to be excited for. I don't remember them seeing a release date or anything like that, but it's coming. It's happening.
I'm not familiar with Leslie Grace.
I didn't have the time to even look up what she did yet, and
Okay.
I don't know if I could do it on the fly. So, Ian, if you check, let me know.
It's almost like
I'll
this
look
is
it
the
up real quick.
jam-packed episode.
I know. You can tell I really put this together and had time to prep and
Didn't
wasn't
just randomly add stuff as I saw headlines.
at the last minute every time I kind of looked at the news sites everywhere. So, Ian, if you get anything, let me know.
I'm not looking it up.
Okay, fair enough. We'll just move on.
What's her name again?
Leslie Grace.
Okay, gotcha.
So, and if you hear anything, let me know. Titans is getting a season 4, so it's another show that, again, is on my back catalog. I didn't watch the sneak peek trailer that they had just because I haven't watched the show, but it's one I've heard good things about. I would like to watch it. I will get there eventually. I don't know when, but that show's still going on. Harley Quinn animated series gave a sneak peek for season 3. Again, another show that I need to watch. I think, Ian, you've watched this one, right? The Harley
I've
Quinn
watched
show?
it. It's really good, fun, surprisingly adult and violent, but once again, Batman don't eat puss.
I remember that being a thing. I didn't watch the show, but I remember that. Speaking of Batman, so there were interviews with the Batman director, Matt Reeves, J.J. Abrams, Bruce Timm, and James Tucker as they talked about their upcoming animated series, Batman Caped Crusader. They described it as a reimagining of the Batman mythology, born out of a noir sensibility and set in the timeless world that harkens back to the 1940s. Bruce Timm, during his conversation, had talked about how he couldn't get away with like as much nuanced and violence and darker themes on the 90s animated series. So this show could really lean into those elements a little bit more. So that has me excited. I think this creative team has me excited, and what they're describing sounds awesome. So I really want to see how this animated series comes together and what this looks like. We got a little bit of behind the scenes look for Shazam 2, which is Shazam Fury of the Gods. I really like Shazam 1. I love Zachary Levi, man crush type of thing. I'm very excited for the sequel. I think the first one's a lot of fun. So I'm anxious to see what they do with the sequel and see where this goes.
I think they're going to lean into more mature themes for this one, which will eventually help them sort of bridge that gap between, like, sort of really kid-friendly Shazam and sort of, like, really sort of brutal Black Adam.
Okay, yeah.
I thought that both Lucy Liu and Helen Mirren looked really good in their roles from what I saw from the little bit they showed us. The thing I didn't like about Shazam was I didn't care for all of the... Have you seen it, Ian?
No.
Well, I didn't care for the end where...
You can spoil it.
He got, like, his group of super friends.
Right.
And I'm not sure how that's going to go carrying forward, but I feel like that's, like, it ought not to be a group of super people.
Well, I think part of the thing that Black Adam has his own entourage too, or at least there are other heroes in his movie.
Okay.
So I don't know if that's an eventual thing they could lead to, one entourage versus the other, the teams versus each other. But yeah, if you're looking at the eventual collision of these two properties, that could be something that comes into play too. What else we got? Wonder Woman celebrated her 80th anniversary for 2021, and we got confirmation that Wonder Woman 3 is in development. Not that that's a surprise to anyone, but it's happening. And then the last thing I guess they covered for the DC FanDome was the trailer for the Batman. Again, we're not going to talk about that here, so this is where the DC FanDome stuff ends. The Batman releases March 4th, 2022. We will talk about it. I guess I just realized, Doctor Strange moved out of March, so now we have the Batman to look forward to in March. So that could be the big thing to talk about. So anyway, we'll talk about the Batman after we see it in March. Any other trailers that come out, we will be avoiding. And then the last topic we're going to cover, and I saved it for last because it's the only reason he's here. We're going to talk about Netflix's Cowboy Bebop, the live-action series. Netflix has debuted probably a couple weeks ago. They showed the opening intro for the show. And then just this week, they gave us the first trailer for the show. And I'm pretty much completely oblivious to this show and the anime source material. So I'm going to toss it to Ian. He can let us know what we need to know, and we'll go from there.
It was 1998 when the world came alive. A sci-fi show so profound. Cowboy Bebop originated as a project with Bandai's toy division as a sponsor. The goal of the project? Sell spacecraft toys. Director Shinichiro Watanabe says his only instruction was to have a spaceship in the show. He was free to do anything else. Bandai reviewed early footage and felt it was clear Watanabe's vision for the series did not match theirs. Believing toys would not sell from this show, Bandai pulled out. The show was in developmental hell for a little bit until Bandai Visual, sister company to Bandai, stepped in to sponsor it. With the new sponsor, there was no longer a need to sell toys, allowing Watanabe somehow even more freedom. While working on the show, Watanabe would often tell the animation staff the show would be something memorable up to 3 decades later. Watanabe created the character Spike first, and he started the project by telling a story that would make Spike look cool. Watanabe knew how he wanted the series to end before he'd even finished creating it fully in his mind. He did not want the show to end up like Star Trek. He didn't want to be tied to it for years and years working on new episodes. On September 2nd, 2001, Cowboy Bebop aired on Adult Swim for the first time. It was the first ever anime to air on Adult Swim, and the first time the show had been broadcast in the US. The show was such a tremendous success on Adult Swim, it has continued to air at least once a year on the block since 2007. Cowboy Bebop is one of the greatest combinations of animation and music to have been created. A profound success with Western audiences and being one of the big animes to draw people into the fandom. Its cultural significance in the Western anime community cannot be overstated. At the big picture level, Cowboy Bebop is a show of a ragtag group of bounty hunters coming together to catch bounties to live. And it's just cool as shit looking to watch. It's a great combination of jazz music, action scenes, character and story development. It's just one of the smoothest, coolest shows. And it was actually like one of those anime that's much more popular in the West than Japan, which isn't usually how it goes. Like, it was almost like designed for Western audiences. Like when Tabane would later go on to create a show called Space Dandy, where he actually built that for Western audiences in mind, like going in. So to get into like how this meds with the trailer, so you mentioned they did the opening of the show they showed us. That was a shot-for-shot remake of the anime's opening, using the same opening song, which is called Tank, which was done by Yoko Kanno. She actually formed a musical group called the Seatbelts to do all the music for this show.
Oh, sweet.
And she's like so well known in Japan, she did the music for the enthronement of their current emperor.
Oh, shit. All right.
And she's involved with this Netflix project, not just for the opening, but in the music in the series. So she's an immense talent to have involved, because like she literally came up with the theme for the enthronement of the current emperor of Japan. So at the end of the day, like watching that opening and just see, like, it shows you a bunch of characters you knew from watching the anime and kind of giving you a brief hint at what they would look like and being like, okay, they're really just doing this. And then we saw the Lost Sessions trailer. Now, Brian had mentioned this. Why is it called the Lost Sessions? Why is that a thing? So the Cowboy Bebop DVDs are called the Perfect Sessions. So they're just playing off that as a Lost Sessions. It's the Lost ones because it's live action. So it's like, because they're going to kind of retell the story. It's like trying to like hint that to you that it's not good. They don't want to fuck it up, I think, is the big thing here. Everything we've seen about this show is that they're trying to make it a lot like the anime, which some people obviously have an issue with because you can't please everyone. I think it looks beautiful. I was really impressed by the costumes. The one big departure was Faye Valentine's design. She's the main girl in the trailer you guys watched.
Yeah.
Her regular anime outfit's more promiscuous. They have her wearing a lot more clothing in this, which I'm fine with. It's not a deal breaker to me. It doesn't really matter. So I know people are going to complain about that, but I think John Cho as Spike really fits the part, and he looks like it. And I'm really excited for the show because it's such a great show, and the fight scenes they showed us in that trailer look so fluid and just amazing. And I wonder if that was stuff shot for the trailer, or if that's kind of how the show's going to look like with those like multiple angles of the same like sequence kind of thing. I really wonder if that was just for that, or if that's something incorporated into the show proper.
Yeah, go ahead, Ian. Or Andy, go ahead.
So does the anime sort of have them like cross through like comic book?
No, that was just for the trailer.
That's
okay. That was gonna be one of my questions.
So the show's not gonna do that.
I would hope not.
I liked how they did it, and it was sort of like, it was cool how they sort of like broke through the walls and used the walls, and I really liked that. I was just curious if that was like a throwback to the anime, or it's like the show's not going to be that fucking chaotic, which I liked, but
it shouldn't be like that, because
so,
like the bars thing was reminiscent more to the show's opening, which uses like bars to break up stuff, but that doesn't translate into the show proper. I'm hoping that's just a thing for this trailer, because that could get very annoying. It was spread out over 10 or whatever, how many episodes this is. So I think that's just going to be a trailer thing.
See, I like that a lot. Like, that's the kind of thing that interests me. Like, I knew nothing about the anime, like, other than, like, hey, this thing exists, and that's kind of what I had a vague idea of what the characters look like, so I do kind of that going in.
Right.
But that trailer, with like you guys are describing, with the bar that's transitions back and forth, and the way they melded all the scenes together like that, like it, and the internet kind of gave this to me, but it kind of reminded me of, like, Scott Pilgrim transitions and stuff. And I fucking dig that movie a lot. And I love that style and aesthetic. And I from the trailer, I was hoping they bring that more into the show. Like, that was just watching the trailer. That's the gist I get for what they're sort of going for. So now, to me, I feel like I'd be a little bit disappointed if they don't lean into that a little bit more in this show as itself, and not just the trailer.
You mean specifically the bar, or like just the look overall of the trailer?
Well, I guess both.
Okay.
Like, if they transition scenes or anything like that with the bar, Like the
Well,
way
I think
they...
that could work with like scene transit. I just don't want, like how like they're throwing it back and forth almost like in the same scene
right,
but different.
okay.
I don't want that but I could see like doing
Fair,
that for different
yeah.
like scene transitions and stuff. I think that'd be acceptable. I just don't. That's almost too busy to add that element into over the thing.
Right. Okay.
Right.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, I was hoping it wouldn't be that freaking chaotic,
Mhm.
But I feel like if they're gonna do a transition, if they do it like that, I think that would add like this like mystique to it. That's really cool.
Yeah. I mean, either way, I think that the trailer alone, not really knowing too much of anything about Cowboy Bebop, like I'm in. I am going to watch this. I have a bunch, like I keep mentioning, I have a bunch of shit on my back catalog I should watch. This is gonna jump most of that stuff. I will watch this opposed to other stuff.
Oh yeah, I might be binging the fuck out of this one. Like, I'm real excited for this now. This is probably one of the shows that got me into anime. Like, it's why I was watching Adult Swim at the time. Like, I had a birthday party. We watched the movie for this show.
Just out of curiosity, is the anime for this available somewhere to watch and stream? Is it on Netflix or is it somewhere else?
They just launched today on Netflix.
The anime version of Cowboy Bebop
Correct.
is on
October
Netflix.
21st it came out.
Okay.
Like the entirety of it?
All 26 episodes, and I'm not 100% sure if the movie's on there though. I know the full TV show part of the is on there, all 26 episodes.
See, even just to hold me over until next month, like I'm even debating watching the anime now before this show comes out.
So that's it. Like they've only made one season. That's all they're ever gonna do.
Without spoiling it ended.
Okay.
There's a definitive ending.
Yes, and
okay.
Some people were not happy with Funtabane when he told them that. He's like, I know what this ending is. It's hinted at throughout the series how it's gonna end. It's kind of in the opening, like what's gonna happen. Not like how it ends, but like what our final thing is. He's like, no, this is ending. I have a vision.
Kudos to him then.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we mentioned it, but the show, the live action Cowboy Bebop drops on Netflix November 19th. So we have a little bit less than a month before this is out. Which, November 19th is a busy fucking weekend. That's Battlefield weekend, that's Ghostbusters weekend, Cowboy Bebop weekend. There's a lot of shit going on.
So if we were to try to catch up to the anime, Ian, do you watch the show first and then the movie, or the movie and then the show? Or is there like an order to it?
The movie just takes place during the show, but there's no really a specific timing. It's more of a one-off.
Oh, okay, I gotcha.
You would probably watch the show first to get introduced to the characters and then fit the movie in at some point before the end, probably. But you could watch it afterwards, because the movie did come out, I think, after the anime, but it just takes place during it.
Oh, so it sort of just like calls back to a different time.
Yeah, because
gotcha.
There's an overarching story, but most of the episodes are like independent one-offs. There's not, outside of like 5-6 episodes, you don't really need to watch them in a certain order. Like you kind of they're just telling the story of that bounty. But there's an overarching theme, and some of the episodes connect in that way. It's like those are the ones you would have to watch in order. But there's some you're not. Like, I'm super excited for several of these episodes because they've hinted they're going to be in it through, like, I've seen the characters in the stuff they've released. And it also feels like they're doing it. Like, there's one that's literally about, like, a space trucker that's super into metal. And I'm so hyped because if they do that, that's going to be a fucking amazing episode. Like, I'm real excited. And, like, even this trailer, you remember there was the guy with, like, the samurai, the katana. That, like, popped up and, like, the music changed. That's the same music from the show that they use with those two characters. And I literally got goosebumps when it happened. Like, I was like, oh my fucking God. Like, it brought back so many memories. I'm very, very, very excited for this show, and very excited that once again I'm keeping this a very anime heavy podcast for
us. I will tell you that I was also into anime at the time that this came out, and I specifically did not watch this anime based on the title. I didn't have anything to do with anything that had to do with cowboys, and I didn't want to have anything to do with anything that had to do with bebopping.
No.
So I was like, I have no desire to watch this whatsoever.
I like that. That's the reason. Like, for some
Yeah.
reason, it's just still funny to me.
Yeah, I mean, well, you see it like on the listings on the thing, like Cowboy Bebop. Well, I ain't watching that.
Oh, that's true. Like, well, yeah, when you're looking through like the guide and stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah, well, we did. I don't think we could look through the guide at that point. Maybe it was like in the newspaper. Or
Oh yeah, like TV guide.
You'd actually have
Old
to buy
school.
the
Yeah,
TV
and, like,
guide.
I had to sign on to AOL and listen to that fucking modem go to like actually like look and see it was on TV. You know, like
Oh, we're dating ourselves so bad. I don't know anything else for this one. I'm excited. I don't know if I'm as excited as Ian, but I'm excited for this.
I didn't know that John Cho was going to do this, but I'm a fan of John Cho. I think he's very good in all the roles that he's done. And I think he's hilarious as Harold.
Yeah.
So I am excited about this. I didn't know it was happening, and when I watched the trailer, I was just kind of like, I don't know what's going on, but it's cool.
Yeah.
Like, one of the things I'm really excited about is there's a whole episode dedicated to this, but Spike's fighting style is described as like flowing like water, like a lot of reactionary, and I'm very excited to see how they filmed it, because it can be very John Wick-esque if they want. And the other big thing with this series is like with Watanabe, the director, purposely did not include any cursing, because it was still, he wanted kids to like it, but also to appeal to adults. So I'm curious, because in the trailer, Faye almost swears at one point before they cut from it. So I'm curious how they'll go with that route, and if it'll be a little more mature tone or keep that element where it's more of an all ages viewing.
Right. Okay. And I don't remember if you talked about it. Maybe I forgot already. Is there anyone involved with the anime involved with the live action, or is it completely different, like crew and production side?
Just Yoko for the music.
Okay.
She's involved, and I don't believe anyone else is. Like, Watabane's not even like a producer on it, at least executive producer. But the studio that made it, Sunrise, is listed as one of the production companies, but I couldn't tell you how much say they have in it.
Fair enough. Okay. All right. Well, I guess, for not really having too much involved with the original like source material, I think they're doing a pretty good like homage, at least, to the source material, from what I understand.
From what we've seen so far, it's very much there, and I think that's what's turned over some fans. I did see some of my anime people complaining that the trailer looked like an Old Navy commercial because of the bar. Which I kind of got, like, when they said that. I was like, yeah, I see what you mean. But I thought it was really stylish and cool, and I'm very much biased on this one, just like Ghost in the Shell. Just like Ghost in the Shell, this is one of those ones I watched on Adult Swim that got me into this whole freaky franchise that got me watching, like, a show about a man dating 5 monster girls. So...
Monster Masu.
Yeah, Musume. Yes.
Musume. I was close.
You're so close. So I
only know about that because Ian talks about it all the time.
So I'm really excited to see what it is, and it was really nice that they ended the trailer by showing us the Bebop. Bebop's the name of the ship.
Okay. See, I didn't know that. Andy, you got anything else to add?
Nope, but we did cover 2 things in this podcast today that were Rocksteady and Bebop.
I thought about that joke, and I kept it to myself because I didn't want to turn Ian away from more turtle shit that we had going on.
I thought that's why Andy brought it up originally.
See, it all comes back to turtles. Every episode, we find a way to plug that turtle stuff in here.
Which is coming up on a future episode of Rewind Theater, TMNT, The Good Years.
That's true. At some point, we will get to that one. All right. Well, I guess that's it. It's all we got, and I think it's gonna put us about an hour and a half, which I think is pretty good considering all the shit we kind of burned through.
Yes,
we'll be happy.
So that's that bloat I was talking about. This could have been a nice, clean 40 minutes.
It's definitely bloated. It's a little bit probably. Yeah, you're right. Probably about twice as long as we were planning on it, but I still think it's pretty quick for our standards.
Either way, for those standards, yes. That's 100% correct.
One of these days, we'll get an episode under an hour.
No, because then you'll bring up Star Wars, and then, like last episode, we'll go on a 20-minute diatribe about the expanded universe.
It happens.
That doesn't happen.
Yeah,
We've never spent
3 hours on a trailer.
3 hours on a trailer. It wasn't even a trailer. I think it was a teaser.
That's the one everybody comes back to. It's always the Force Awakens trailer. I was still early days of the podcast. I was still trying to figure out how to do this shit.
I can't believe no one just
still
left.
don't know what the hell we're doing.
Guys, it's been 2.5 hours. I'm not doing. We haven't even gotten to the second 30 seconds.
I mean, they have podcasts that take, it's 1 minute of a movie or something like that. I just didn't know you could divide that into numerous episodes. I tried to fit it all in one episode.
In a trailer.
Yeah. 1 hour per minute of the trailer. I got it. That's how you do this shit. All right. Well, that's it for us. If you've enjoyed the show, please support us. Leave a 5-star rating and review. Be sure to give us a share on social media. Make sure you can follow, subscribe to the show to keep up with us. We're on Spotify, iTunes, Google, Anchor, Stitcher. Hopefully anywhere you're finding a podcast, you can find us. Search for us on Facebook, Bry Guy and Super Friends, or go to facebook.com/Bry Guy Super Friends. You can send us questions, comments, topic suggestions, any of that stuff there. Hit us up as an email. Send us an email, bryguysuperfriends@gmail.com. It's legit. It works. I won't check it. It's fine. It's there. Hit us up on Twitter @BGSuperFriends. That I will see. That will get back to you. Feel free to follow me on Twitch @Jedi Bry Guy. That's Jedi with an I, Bry with a Y. And
So
for
hot.
whenever we decide to go live, there's talk of us maybe doing it for 250. We're at, I think, like 241-ish now. That might be where we're at. So if we decide to actually nail that down and plan something like that, I will start promoting that in the next couple episodes. We'll try to figure that out. 1, what we're going to do for that episode, and 2, if we still want to do it live. So either way, I will keep you guys posted in the future. And that's it for us. On behalf of Andy, Ian, and myself, thank you for listening, and we'll talk to you next time.
See ya, Space Cowboy.
The Wheel of Fate!
Does it not even with any of the Rewind Theater shit? Josh will be so proud.